Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back today. Earlier today, guys, I came in and I did a little bit on the Nissan build. But today, I'm back and we're going to show you how to do some lowering of some vehicles. Which is easy in some aspects. I do it a little different. Like I said, I've tried to stress over the last few videos that I go for the visual build. I don't, I'm not the perfect builder. I go for a visual. I'll pull out a subject here. Alright, I'm going to get us out a few subjects. We're going to have this right here is an original AMT promo of the 79 Monte Carlo. Because I want to show you guys this chassis form if you're building a car with this kind of chassis form. Like I said earlier, we're going to take a monogram subject. This right here is just a old glue bomb. I'm going to take a monogram subject and try to show you how to do something like in this form. A lot of your Tamiya cars, a lot of them have this solid base, so I'm going to try to show you how to do that. Going to show you guys how to do that by using that kit. Because even though some of these kits come with the frame detail, like so, a lot of this stuff. So, let me see, I can't get this right here. And they're just yet. So it's going to go like that. Like that, like that. Alright. And this right here. Going like that. Alright. So, yeah, alright, so, like, if you guys, I'm trying to find some subjects that we can work on. So, here's a good one. Here is a good one. Alright. So back in the day, let's start with this. This right here will be a good one. So, and now I'm going to find me a good set of wheels. Alright. So back in the day when we were getting our models and you're building them, we're getting stances like this. This is, the monogram already glued up. This is the glue bomb. You would have AMT chassis that were solid like this, and you had to use the metal axles. And then, you have your crispy, all original Johan, and they were the same way, like this. See? Let me see, alright, there you guys go. And, no, I started building in 1980, Jody. You're probably older than me, sir, but in 1980, when I started building, Johan was still stocked on the shelves at my local hobby shop. Alright, So here, you know, this is the factory setting, and a lot of people didn't know. They don't know how to lower their vehicle to get their stance. We could do it one of two. Jody, I think my dad was born in '56. So say you wanted to put, now these, I custom made these wheels, but so you go like this, and you see how it has the axles and stuff. So if somebody was picking up these wheels, these are my made wheels, but you know, you wanted to put these wheels on this car, you know, if I pull this apart and you go with the factory, let me pull this apart. And if you go with the factory mounting holes from, let's say, Johan, AMT, whatever kit you're going to choose, you go with the factory mounting holes, this is the stance you get. You know, that's not... I'm going to change the camera view today, guys. Let's see. If we were going to... I'm going to switch the camera some, guys. Here you go. Alright. So this is the stance you would get. Now, some that looks cool, some they don't want that, and you want to lower the front end. What was upsetting is on the AMT and Johan kits, let me get the motor. Your motor has this big old hole in it. And back in the day, AMT would even sometimes have the hole clear through the oil pan. So if you was to lower it with this rod, what you're doing is you're bringing that rod further up through the motor. Here's what I came up doing, and it can work on all three. It will work on all three. And like I say, I go for the visual look, guys. I don't go for precision. And you know, so if you guys are, I hope, I don't want to deter any of you. See what I'm saying? So what I would do is, I want to bring this front end down. So what I do is, you could always drill out this hole here, but if you drill out that hole to go up, what you're doing is you also have to enlarge that hole in that motor and everything as well. So here's what I had started doing from a young age. Now, if there's any children in here watching, any of you youngsters, please get your parents' permission or have your parents help you before you do this. But what I would always do is, and I still do this till today, I've built show-winning models that I've done this. I drill me a hole in the back of the wheel, find me a piece of sprue that fits in there. I cut me a little bit of distance off. And then what I do is I heat it up. I give it a little bit of momentum to mount in. And then I place it. And while it's still hot and fresh plastic, I can set it where I need to set it. So I can bring the front end down. And I give it that look that I want. And it was always fine for the AMT. It was always fine for the AMT, like the Johan kits and the AMT kits, where everything back in the day, where everything was molded in. Just something quick like that. I lowered the stance just enough to give it some girl look. You know, the front end's not up high anymore. You know. But then you get into situations like the Monogram and the Tamiya, where once you start to build, once you start to build a car with, I'm gonna put some of this stuff up. Once you start to build a car with some of the chassis details and stuff like that, how do you do that? You can go about one or two ways. You can heat this stuff up as well and move it, or you can channel some of the body out to lower it, or then again you can do what I've done. This right here is already broke. This piece right here is already broke. And then so the rear end, if you can't get the rear end off like this, like they glued these wheels on when they was building this kit, I just twist and turn until I twist the whole thing off like that. Now, this is the stance that they get from the factory. Say you don't want that stance, you want that Gur stance. Well, you can do one of two things. If the pegs were still on this, you can see how they're broken off. If the pegs were still on this, you can heat that peg up itself and just give you a little, and then you can just give it a little bit of drop. You know, don't go down far, because you haven't taken away your inner fender well right there. But the front, you can almost put the front anywhere you want, you know. So we want it to look something like that, or you want it right there on the lip, you know. You can adjust it, but on the rear end, in order for you to do the rear end thing, you'll have to pull the chassis out. I'm gonna get my plans for this car here anyway was to slam it and stuff. So I'm going to show you some quick ways. Some of you guys don't have the saws I have yet. But what I do is I try to cut in the middle. And then I just break that off. Because if you don't open the trunk, the wheel and tire is going to hide it. But what you want to do is you want to make you a spot. That way the inner wheel, the inner fender wheel, the tire will come up. And right there will give it just enough. See how that little cut is right there? You might have to widen it back and forth. But remember, the more you open up this, the further the tire is going to go up in. And if you cut it more this way than you do this way, then that sets the tire will come, you know, it'll depend upon where your tire sets back and forth. As you lower the car, like if you're in a real car, as you raise the car and as you lower the car, oh, that wasn't even on camera. The tire positions move. See how bad of a glue bomb this is, guys? It's going to be a lot of work. The girls on All Girls Garage on speed or velocity, depending upon your cable provider. My intention is to get this car to look like theirs. They found a barnyard car, and it's all new in the motor and underneath, but the outside of the body is trashed, and that's what this is going to serve its purpose. So now, once you do that little cut, see how much further that wheel and tire go up in there now? Just doing something just nice and quick like that, you know. And there goes to show you, because I didn't cut the stuff in the right place. See how it shoves the front tire forward? And that's why you're going to have to do lots of test fitting, working on getting this right here opened up. And then you do the heat trick, like I told you, where you melt your shafts in there to get the stance you want. And that is just something really, really quick, guys. From that stock stance that we went to a performance stance like that. When you pick up the vehicle, let me go ahead and finish. I'm going to show you this. When you go ahead, I'm going to finish this off. You know what? The beauty of someone else building something and me picking it up for $2. $2. go in. And you can do this a lot cleaner. I'm just doing this quick for you guys. Okay. Now I'm going to show you motor and drive shaft. I'm going to try to take it out. This is one of the best things about this car. I've always loved the way they did the exhaust on this car in real life. Alright, so once you get the chassis in there, there's a 70 Buick Skylark, Gary. I've never seen the 69 unless you pick it up in resin. I've seen the 68 done in resin. I don't know about the 69, but if you're not subscribed to Vision 124, one of his builds last year was the 70, and it is a monster build. It is beautiful. So here, like I said, on this kit, it came with these pegs. So we're gonna light these pegs up. And then you give it a little heat. You let it get in there for a minute, get soft. And then you take your wheel and you place it to the stance that you want, and you position it. Like that. And then you do the same. You'll do the same on the front. I don't know. I got a fucking Crackman's lighter here for some reason today. I don't know what the heck. Somebody messed with my lighters. And then once you get everything set, you know, and you get it lowered the way you want it, you know, usually I'll pull this wheel out. I'm going to pull this wheel out because I don't like that at all. Give me a little bit. Clamp. Hello, dog. Then, like I said, right now I'm putting some heat to the sprue. Then what that does, that's going to give me some distance and some working room. And then what I do is I'll get in there, I'll get this set the way I want it to. And then see how it brings that wheel out. And then, you know, it gives you your stance that you want. And then when you look underneath, it's just loose because of the way I put the sprue. And then when you look underneath, if you use a black sprue, you won't even tell how it was done. Hello, Chris. I seen your new video up yesterday. Guys, Chris G is working on it. What year is that you're working on, Chris? I'm drawing a blank. It's a pretty neat little rod he's working with. And see how once you do it, I just did this real quick. But once you do it, you can't even tell that everything is done. But I got it lowered to the stance that I wanted to. Now that works. Now this is what works for me, and it gives you a tough look. I mean, I've gotten cars, my Maverick, Belvedere, you know, I got models that has went in Best Fords, Best Mopar at shows with 800 bills, lowered this way. If you don't see it and you can hide it, I wouldn't go all the way through the work, because if you went all the way through the work, my buddy Pete, he comes in the operator and owner of ScaledWorld.net. He sat there and fought his CUDA to get the front end to lower, because, you know, it only goes down so far with all the way these pieces are, when you have this motor in there, and you know, depending upon the size wheel and tires you guys have too. But when you do it this way, you can have everything done, and then you can set your suspension, and, you know, even with the motor still in there, everything sets and closes. You know, you went from this stock height here to this height here in just a few seconds using sprue and a lighter. The reason why I do it this way is because for the most part it's not going to be seen. As you look underneath here, you really can't tell, you know, that I've done anything. It really can't be, you know, I'm shortcutting stuff that's not visible to the naked eye. Now, granted, if they wanted to pull this out and start nitpicking it together, yes, you're going to be able to point out, you know, if we was to use a factory motor and the axle would go through it, yes, that's what you would do. That's what you would do. Yes, sir. But for a lot of builders, Jody, most of us, we have the intention of changing the motors one way or another. There's a lot of us out here that we're always innovating. We always want to update or do something. But if you had an older build like these two, like the Monte Carlo, and you know, even the brand new Force pickup truck, guys, has metal axles again, and it goes right through the motor. Best thing to do, best thing I found out how to fill up those motors, if you guys don't have plastic that you can, you know, glue in there and manipulate, get the Milliput, because the Milliput is a two-part. You squeeze it, this Milliput here, it is a two-part. And you can fit it in the hole, and then you can get your a Q-tip. You can get a Q-tip that's wet, and you can go back and forth. You know, just mix up the Milliput, put it in that hole right there. Get your Q-tip wet, and then just smooth it. Make sure it's smooth, because if you try to do body work in there, you don't want to lose the freeze plug detail and stuff like that. Oh, you do? You okay, John? There you go. And that's just, and like I said, Gary, this is just what works for me. This is what works for me, guys, because I'm on the visual aspect of it. Now, you know, when you lift a vehicle, you can't do that. When you lift a vehicle, you actually got to do all the work. And you can see I've gotten all the front end, all the suspension and everything. So it's not, you only do that on vehicles that you actually got to, you only do this on vehicles that you know that you want that low, to get that look. You know, like on the gassers and the hot rods and stuff like that, you don't need to. And there's cars like the, let me get this out for you too. The cars like the Revell Mustang. Let me show you this, guys. Here's a project. I don't know why I don't finish this. It's getting so close. I've had this project underway for years. I don't know why I don't do it. Custom hood scoop, Subaru rear wing, custom tail lights, all custom body kit. Handmade body kit all the way around the car, custom front bumper. I even did all the netting under the hood, for the functional hood scoop. But what I'm going to show you, see inside the inner fenders? See, focus, you dummy. Inside the inner fenders, that is gray masking tape. And what I did is I drilled out the, this is the camera. Drilled out the fenders. I haven't cut the rear openings yet, to get the rear end lowered. But see the tape on the inside? That's because I drilled out the inner fenders. These Mustang kits come with the inner fenders like this. So when you go to lower the kit, I had to cut off plastic here, and then I grinded all this stuff here down. I grinded all that down. So come on, focus, you big dum-dum. And then I grinded all that down so I can get the wheel and tire up in there further. And then, let's see, I'm going to put all this back together. And what I did is, once I put that silver tape in there, that let me get my form back. And then I run super glue. I run super glue over the bottom of it, and that will keep its form, and it won't let the tape lift and lose its stickiness, because now I've braced it with the super glue. You know, so sometimes you have to do more modifying than just lowering the, using the sprue to heat up and lower in the thing. This right here, I've made custom windows. The windows are open, way more. Got the center section of the roof out. You know, it's just something that I got fully nuts with, and I got it to this point, and it was like, you know, and I built so much. I built so much more after that. But, you know, here, let me pick a setup of wheels. I'll be right back, fellas. Like, once you did this, I mean, your Mustang kits, how many people out there have seen this Mustang built? You know, hundreds of people have built this kit, you know. I mean, it's just a 2006 Mustang GT, and later, dog. Hope you have a good day. It's raining and storming here. And then once I did all that work, I can get the car, you know, low, you know, and then just to look. I just grabbed a set of wheels, guys. These ain't the set of wheels I was going to use on it. You know, you just want to get a cool, you know, you want that cool factor. You do all the body work and stuff, and you just want a cool factor. And yeah, you know, if we don't get the rain, John, we complain that we don't get rain. Then when we get rain, we complain that we get that's like where we live here in the Midwest. It don't get cool. It don't get cool here. It's either hot or freezing. You know, so little tricks like that. And then once you get all the suspension and everything underneath there, I got it low enough. Yeah. Now, guys, Gary from Scale Dreams and Styrene was the guy I was trying to mention the other day when I said I couldn't recall what his channel name was. But he's also a musician, and it's funny how we guys know that Dr. Cranky plays a little bit, CT plays a little bit, Joe from Back Bay Scale Customs, he plays a lot, you know, and it's cool to see that several model builders also do strings and stuff. Yeah, hello, John. Welcome, John. John Kirby's with us today. Now, this guy is stupid. I mean, he's so stupid, I put a capital T in oopid. But I love him. He's a great friend. And he had my back one day, but not for very long. Remember that, John? I told John, watch out for me. And John said, I got you. And a few minutes later, I was getting yelled at. Thanks for John watching my back. I appreciated that, bud. But where was I going? I like John. I tease John quite often. And he teased me too. Oh, Joe, do you play the guitar too? What was I going to pull out? I was going to pull out something else and show you guys. But when you go to do the lowering, say you're building a T-bucket or something like that where the front end is showing, what I usually do, if you got to build something where the front end is actually showing, you already have, I don't see where my parts are, guys. I know I have them somewhere. What is this? Is this it? No, that ain't it. Well, anyway, I'm drawing a blank. But say you have something like a street rod or rat rod that you really want to lower. You guys can go watch Nick Ambury. He is the Beach Bum Garage guy. Yeah, Johnny McMuffin Top. He got into it, didn't he? Oh, man. Take some solder. Just take some solid solder. Like this. You know, mine's not that straight. You told me he was coming. I was 40 feet in the air. You didn't tell me soon enough. Me and John work for a grocery DC, guys. And one year they selected me and John to help the logistics systems redesign what they called of the warehouse. And it was something that was supposed to take 6 months. They hired in another crew that just was worthless. So every day me and John is fixing what the real crew did. And at the end of the day, we had to get it ready for the order fillers. She said. And one night I didn't want to use the right equipment. So I told John, hey, you watch me. And I climbed up the racks that hold our product. And I was walking across the beams putting location labels on it. It didn't go over too well when the management seen what I was doing. Let me get back. So if you're building a street rod and you want to get, this is what's pissing me off. I have one out here. Here it is. I knew if I just looked for it. Alright. Now this is an honor build for our friend Blair Pletcher, who passed away at the beginning of this year. So say you're working this car here. And here's the factory stance on this. Right? You don't want that, right? So if you go by what's factory, I've already manipulated this rear end and everything, guys. You know what's funny is, yeah, I got in trouble that day, but me and John both still work there. We're both still on the same shift, and the guy that raised hell about what me and John were doing to get the job done, actually got fired for not doing his job. So, that goes to show you some. Alright, so, when you get this right here, this is the way the factory front end would come. Well, look, you got all these parts that you can use, but you really can't bend this in any way to get, let me get that back in focus. You really can't bend this in any way to get it lower. So take you a piece of solder. Where'd my box go? And here's the wheels that we want to use. Here's the wheels that we're going to use on this project. So take you some solder, like this. Let me get your camera back over here. And then bend the shape that you want. If you want it low, then put your bar there like that, and then start twisting it and make your drop beam like this, the way you want your drop beam and how far up you want to go. And then that right there, you'll put your tire and your post in there, and then, see what I'm saying? And then you can cut everything off the plastic or make your own radius arms and stuff. So that's one reason. I know you hear a lot of us using the solder for exhaust and whatnot, but you can also use it to bend and make, like your straight axles if you want to do a gasser, or like these street rods if you want to lower them. So, they bring a good purpose. No, Gary, look at this. You can build there. It has a bit of tension to it. It will hold the weight of your build. but it still takes a little bit of oomph, you know, to bend it. But you can bend it, and it's not soft enough to fall on its face, you know what I mean? I used the solder to let me, I can't get to the case right now because I got crap in front of it getting ready to send to, I got stuff in front of it waiting to send to New Jersey. But see, I got all this stuff I'm getting packed up. If you look at my lowrider up here, I used the solder for that, Gary, to keep the front end lifted up in the air, to make it look like it has hydraulics. The same with my Cadillacs, you know. And this right here is just some more of the custom work that I do. There's the Maverick I was telling you about. And then, you know, you can see what, you know, where I lowered the cars and what have you. You know, I'm a fan of the stuff on the ground. And then they're right here, you know. But yeah, I built the lifted stuff too. And then right here's the Bonneville, the Belvedere wagon will be going to New Jersey. I got several other things headed up north. But they serve its purpose, you know, when you can't tell, you know, when you modify a Johan chassis. This chassis here is set up for a drag car. Here it is set in stock. I'm using all the stock holes and everything on street tires. And then here it is with me after I've done my lowering on it, you know. So there's, you know, there's ways to go about it. And we have projects here, guys. There's projects here. Let me show you the van we're going to do for scaledworld.net. This right here is going to be a sponsor van for scaledworld.net. Believe it's Ricky Wallace built the box and started the project for Scaled World, and I'm going to be the completer and finisher of it. But, you know, this right here, we're going full detail on this one. There are certain builds where you go full detail. We're going to have all the suspension. We're going to have all the suspension for this one. Because this is what this was intended for. All the suspension is going to work and move. The way the front wheels and stuff were set on. So there's a quick and easy way to get them to look good. And then there's the way to spend the time to do it. What I showed you today, guys, was the quick way to get the stance, to hide it, to get the stance. And then, like you say, you know, we're going to go full blown on this project here. We're going to go full blown on this project here when we get to it. But what I showed you today was just a quick way. There's many of people that was like, I can't see how I can lower this. What can I do? So what I showed you was just just a quick, get that in there. What am I stuck on? And then, you know, once we get that in there, we're going with some rig wheels. Pete and I, we got to make some tires. Which end is it? We got to make some tires for this still yet, though. Oh, there it goes. Morning Punch. You know, we got to get some more stuff set up for this one, but we got some great things out in the community that I think we're going to try to pick up and add to this. There's a guy on Facebook. He runs the Wolf Pack. They sell plastic. They sell a lot of Plastistruct. His name is James Ballantyne and Adam Mosier. They've been building a lot of stuff that I think we're going to add to there, because the back door we got the back door really working on this, guys. It will roll up and roll down. So what we're going to try to do is, I've been talking to Jason Ballantyne and maybe make me a shelf rack or something in there, and we're going to try to put some like either model boxes on there, or Pete at Scaled World, he personally likes all vehicles, but he's always been into slam stuff, his own personal Honda Civics and whatnot. So he's going to try to maybe add some wheels in there, maybe some coilovers, you know, just get some little pieces that are detailed. This right here is going to be a longer project than some of the other stuff that we're working on for Scaled World, but it's going to be a project for Pete and them. But it's just something that we're getting decals. We're looking at getting the real decals made. Kind of wanting to do some other, you know. Now, Ryan, I haven't done nothing to the van yet. Ricky Wallace started this project. He's on Facebook more than he is on YouTube. I don't even think he's on YouTube. But Ricky started this. For Scaled World, and then I'm gonna complete it. So big shout out goes out to Ricky, because this thing is square, the thing is functional. You know, almost anybody could say, look, I can build you a box van and slap some plastic together. But the radius is perfect here on the wheel wells. The form, the way you guys see the tape that's on here, the way Ricky made it to where I can pull it apart, put it back together, and keep building. You know, that's better than somebody just slapping shit together. He's got me all set up for, he's got me all set up for all my tail lights. The only reason why this door is bowing is because we don't have the sides right. But it rolls up. He made it to where I got all the track on the inside. He built all this box and everything right there. So once everything gets set in stone, once everything gets set to where we can do it, Ricky Wallace. I don't think Ricky Lake can work with plastic. Maybe with silicone plastic, if you know what I mean there, Punch. But not with sheet plastic. And then, and like I said, what I showed you today, guys, was just a quick way to get a visual stance, you know, to take this to here, you know. Let me pull this back out. You know, here's your factory look and stance, and then you want to add some custom look and stance. And basically all I did today is showed you a quick way to do that. And like I say, if you can do it and make it visual and make it, you wouldn't see that we just melted sprue and then lowered our stance, you know. This right here is just, the wheel's just loose right now. And there's ways to hide. That's why I said you can shortcut some things, guys, as long as it's visually correct, you know. This right here is a much better, this is my preference of look anyway, you know, slam to the ground and whatnot. But hopefully that helped. It's not as long video as before. Just again, I start talking and rambling on. But on some projects, you don't have to go this far. You don't have to go into making trailing arms and all your axle joints and moving the A-arms in place. You know, you can usually just hide it. Because when you look over, you can't see none of that. When you look up over a build like this, you don't see none of that. The same with the Challenger. You know, you look over, you don't see where we used melted sprue to get that look, you know. Well, guys, thanks for joining me today. I know that was a nice little quick video. I still excited that you guys took 40 minutes out of your day to follow me. Like I said, I've been making a playlist for all the Tech Thursdays. If you guys get bored one day, just go over there to my playlist, and it will say Minis Thursday Q&A. Go over there and spend the day and watch out some videos. The same with the C1 build. If you guys see that in the background, the same with the C1 build. Don't forget, I'm going to do some shouting out right now. Don't forget on Saturdays, Gary from Car Dreams and Styrene, he does his shows on Saturday. So look for his post Saturday. If you're not subscribed to his channel yet, get over there and check him out. Ryan at See No Evil Builds, don't forget to check out his projects and what he's working on. He always got something coming up. And then you got Strut Strange Scale Custom. You guys can hang out with him on Friday nights at the Young Model Master and Kicking Wing, which is 8 Second Speed Shop. They do their live model builders hangout on YouTube, and it lasts for several hours. You know, you'll get Pappy over there, Clifton Smith. I've seen Tim Halsey coming in there. Freddie from H-Town Model Works hung out last week. Fast Jimmy 71 popped in there with those boys for a little bit and hung out. Let's see who else we got in here today. Chris Gee, I already mentioned him. Go over there and check out his latest video. And then you got my boy Punch right there. He needs to get back to doing some. Now the videos that Punch has out now, really makes many, I said many, I meant me, really makes me pretty jealous. The dude has the largest stock of square escorts I've ever seen. And really makes me jealous because he's got some neat kits over there. And then he's got the van, the Italeri, just reissued this year. But he's got the originals. Really neat projects that he's got going on over there. Don't forget, check out scaledworld.net. You guys can see some of the latest unboxings and stuff that he has done, kits that he has featured. He just today, he's got one of our other community members, Tom Ritter from the Scale Modeling channel. His newest build is going to be featured on there. It's pretty nice, little Honda S2000 with some little lip changing and front bumper changing and stuff on it. Tom's videos are great, guys. He goes through all the steps, shows you how to do some painting. He's a good tool for taking a box stock kit and making it look show winning. So great channel, really enjoy his channel. He's a big part of our community. You need to go over there and check that out. And plus he has a store. For some of you guys that it's getting harder for you guys to get products, either due to shipping cost or location. He does ship worldwide, yeah. Mooger, welcome in today, buddy. And then you guys know John Paul. John has been working really hard to bring you guys a live show like I do. So if you guys see him pop up on a live feed, go over there and spend some time with him and chat with him. You got SC Modeling with us today. Yeah. And then, like I said, John, I have to say hello to Ethan and Elijah. I hope you boys are being good for your dad. And wish we still had Xbox Live so we could play together. Those boys used to listen and watch me and John play Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, and he would just laugh. I would get out there and start running around in circles or blowing stuff up. John, I have a modded Xbox, so there are certain games I could have a modded disc in, and one of the games I had was You Couldn't Kill Me. So John would just get in his truck, and John had built the Mercedes 6-wheel truck that's in Grand Theft Auto 5, and he would just run me over, and his Otis boy would just laugh. Me and John found cheat codes to where if you got yourself stuck inside of a fence, there's a fence that opens up like this. And if you get your body on that side of the fence, and John would hit the fence like this, if he hit it just right, it would shoot me like a bajillion 1,000 feet in the air, and his boys would just go nuts laughing. And it was cool to see those kids laughing and having fun with their dad while he was on the Xbox playing with me. So I always got to tell Ethan and Elijah hi. And then it's cool looking back through the messages, seeing, that Jody and a lot of you other guys have a second hobby. I try to collect Hot Wheels at a younger age, like in my 20s. My sister's husband, he started collecting Hot Wheels. My brother, who's passed away, he started collecting Hot Wheels. And I had an older cousin, by the name of Bobby. He had started collecting Hot Wheels. He also has passed away. I just couldn't do two hobbies because either I wanted this Johan kit that at the time would have been, instead of $5, they'd wanted $20 for it, or I wanted the set of California Cruising Hot Wheel set to go to the collection of other Hot Wheel sets I had that was $20. I couldn't, I'm more passionate here because I can make this what I want. I can't take this die-cast set of 4 cars for the same price as this and make it any different. So I packed up 490 singles and 200 sets and sold them all to a guy. And I let him piece them out. I sold them cheap. I sold everything for $1,000. Shoot, what was that? Probably 1995, 94, 95. Yeah, 94, 95. And then I just, I stay focused on the Hot Wheels. I mean, on the plastic cars, because I can make them the way I want to, Yeah, John, no problem, bud. John said thanks for the shootout. I guess me and John are going to have a race. Here's what we call, at some of our local racetracks, we have what's called a shootout. And basically, it's run what you brung. Whether it's a run what you brung. So if you have a car that's got a 100 hit of nitrous and I got a blowing big block, I run it until I get beat. There's no classes, there's no time racing, no bracket racing. It's just you keep racing, until you get beat, whether you race 3 times or 30 times. It makes for a long day at the racetrack, but you're getting a $10,000 payout at the end of it. Hopefully you built your car to stay strong. There's been many guys that built a bad car and it is just killing the track, but say you left the battery on and you don't have time. They don't let you have time. It don't let you have time to fix anything, so you better brought a car that will withstand it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to, Ryan. Yeah, if your car will handle it. And but it shows some great racing. My dad has always been man, his cars are top notch, from the exhaust tip to the headlight buckets. He always kept them clean. They ran mean, but I've seen some ugly beat up. You think this car was headed to the scrap yard, not to the drag strip. Built. Man, you want to talk about being built. It looked like crap on the outside, but the powertrain and everything, and they're going out there slamming. They're going out there twisting people, making people tear their stuff up. They already showed up with something that's tore up, and they're making other guys tear their stuff up because the car's just built to do the shootouts. A lot of people think you could throw money into a car, and if you don't know how to drive, all that money's waste. But that's what a shootout in my area is called, unless you're a gangbanger, and then I guess you could have a shootout whenever you want. Alright, later, Monty. Thanks for joining. Thank all you guys for joining. We'll see you guys on the next Tech Thursday. I'll have to think of something to do for the next Thursday. Yeah, you always come in late, Kicking Wing. You need to leave those snakes and sparklers alone so you can pay attention to the live update. Don't forget, guys, there's Skylar popped in now. Don't forget, go over there and check them out on Friday nights. Either Skylar will host it, it's the 8 Second Speed Shop, or Young Model Master, which is James. No, you can't buy skills. You cannot buy skills. You can buy all the parts to your heart's content or to your wallet's limit. But throwing blueprints, throwing mismatch, you know, all you're doing is tossing your money away. Enjoy each build. I can't speak of how fast someone builds, but don't just throw them together to get to the next project, because you're not ever going to be able. Oh, Darren, I haven't seen you on in a long time, buddy. I hope you're well. Guys, when I mention builders that go all out versus what I do, I am a visual builder. And Darren Cooper is one of the best all-out builders that I know. He's willing to learn. He's let us he's let us criticize his build, but be constructively. But here's a guy that, you know, he might not have perfect paint. That was one of the issues that Darren was trying to get figured out, you know, a better paint job. But Darren opens up the doors. Darren opens up the trunks. And instead of just opening them up and hinging them, he's building the reinforcements. He's building all the dog leg on the inside. All the interior on the seat belts and all that is going to be factory. He's going to make it right, you know. Yeah, you're right, Punch. We've missed you, Darren. And Darren videos, he'll show you in his videos how he cuts his doors open. He's full of knowledge, and he's one of those builders that he if it's got a T-nut in it, he's putting the T-nut in it. He's not just going to give us a piece of sprue. You know, Darren puts forth the best that Darren knows how with each and every build. And you want to talk about some amazing builds. There's just issues. We all have an issue here or there that we need to improve on. I'm showing you guys how to make, for lack of better words, rigging the project to get the finish, when Darren actually will create the product to get the finish. And great, the way he does his door hinges. His hinges, like I showed you guys how I do my hinges. My hinges is about 2 to 3 parts. Darren's hinges is about 7 parts. You know, the way he does it, it's what works for him. But you guys, if you're not subscribed to Darren, before I finish this feed, go over there, subscribe to Darren. You guys will be amazed at the detail and the craftsmanship that Darren shares with us. So, yeah, it is very good to see you back, Darren, and I hope you get set up. The live feeds have seemed to be working very well for me, Darren, versus happen to sit there, edit, you know, get everything together, and then produce a video that's going to take YouTube an hour to put it on. Now, the finished builds may be a video, but the way you like to work and the way you like to show what you're doing, Darren, I think the live feed would be very, very welcoming for you and for the people who choose to follow you. Because Darren has a great talent. And he is one. If, you know, you can recommend people for days, but Darren would be one I would tell anybody that follows me needs to sub to Darren. He's not a flashy builder. He is one of the best. Darren, what would you say you enjoy most? I would say factory stock. He tries to make them look factory stock the best he can, like all the way to factory color codes. The way he's detailed, you know, he'll put the detail that the kits lack to make it look factory. I would say he's one of the best factory builders. I'm not trying to say box stock builder, guys. I mean, he'll take the kit and add the seatbelt hoops, the door seals, the moldings back into the door line that should be there, and, you know, the under the hood detail and that kind of stuff. Skylar, you, with those kicking boots you have on there, I can see you just landing on your back, not doing a complete flip. Yeah, there you go, guys. Like he said, he likes to go factory stock with as much detail. Because I tell you what, some of these prices of these cars nowadays, I remember when my dad would throw away a '69 Mustang. He'd pick it up for $400 or $500, put a 302 in it, get it running really good, put some chrome mag wheels on them from Super Shops, turn around and sell the car for $1,500. And now you're looking at pieces of crap that my dad wouldn't even pick up for door hinges going for $7,000. So most of us in this community will never be able to buy a 70 AAR CUDA, you know. So to see Darren pick up the kit and make it look functional would be a lot cheaper and a lot more enjoying than trying to tell my wife I need $250,000 for a car. But Darren, I can't wait to see you back, buddy. It's good. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. Kick and Wing, be safe out there, bud. Those snakes and sparklers can get away from you this time of year, bud. And don't forget, we're always going to be preaching one of the best web pages out there, guys. We got scaledworld.net. Make sure you go over there. You enjoy what's already posted. Get to these links here. See some more work. And then don't ever think that you're not welcome to share your builds over there. There is no prejudice over there, whether you build race cars, rat rods, 4x4s. There is no prejudice. There's no single subject that we choose to publicize over there. You're all welcome from around the world. Just please, when you go over there to submit your build, please leave us information so Pedro can get that posted up. We would love to know your name, if you have a YouTube channel or Facebook page that goes by a different name. I know Gary G from Car Dreams and Styrene. I know that's not his real name. We've just, we've talked offline. That's why. So we would like to know your full name, where you're from, maybe a quick bio of your history into the hobby, and please explain your build. Like if you were sending this Monte Carlo over there done, please state that it's a 79, it's a metallic blue. Show tell us what you done to the interior, what wheel information you might have, and what you might have done to the chassis. The best information leads to the best articles. I've written a few articles. Pete does most of the bios, but he's taken the information that you guys are relaying back to him. So the best pictures, I would recommend stuff without stuff in the background if possible, and stuff like that. But this right here is a great outlet, guys, and it's a great inspiration page too. Sometimes you don't want to get on Facebook and see everybody posting. You just want to go and straight look at models. You can do that at scaleworld.net. It's broken down into different features, and I'm happy to say that some of your magazine coverages are being spotlighted over there too. If you do not have access to, say, Scale World, not Scale World, but Scale Auto or Model Car, say you don't have a vendor in your area, people like Gary G, who lives in Austria, maybe he don't have the access to the American style magazines. we have a section over there now that you can go and you can check out some of the latest issues page for page without having to pay to get it downloaded. Then there's also links to other vendors that we might not be speaking of here at Mr. Mini Dreams when we go live. So Scale World is not just a place for you to go look. It's a place for you to submit to, guys, and a place for you guys to better your skills, better your interest, and like most of us, inspiration. There's sometimes we just hit a roadblock and you need inspiration, and Scale World should be there to block that. So want to thank everybody that joined us today, everybody in the community, new, old, young, even John. I want to thank John for tuning in. So you guys have a great day. This is Minnie, and don't forget, lower stances look great on almost all vehicles. To get that out of the way. So you guys enjoy building. Build what you like. Perfect what you like. And then when you think that you've done it to the best of your ability, then move on to another subject. Don't try to do race cars, four-wheel drives, dragsters, factory stock, because you're never going to get satisfied. So what you got to do is perfect one area. For years, all I built was lowriders, guys. And then I ventured on, So this is Minnie. You guys have a great morning. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon at 1:30, tune in to the ISM live show here on YouTube. They're going to have a big, they have 3 lots of kits, supplies. They're going to be auctioned off for models for heroes. It's to help wounded. It's to help wounded, acting, and retired or discharged veterans of not only the United States but across the world. The men and women. It has come to be a great stress relief for those battling PTSD. They fight hard. Some of them don't get a chance to have a recovery. Some of them never even make it home to their family. So right here would be a great cause. Some really great products coming in. They go live tomorrow at 1:30 Central Time. So wherever you are at over there. Hey Solemn, I hope you found the rest of your photo etch. Solemn's cat destroyed a project he was getting really into. And then don't forget, for supply needs, we got you got the Ultimate Modeling products. We got Chip and Lisa over here at Extreme. So here's some more detail on that for you guys. So we'll see you guys. This is Minnie. There it is, focus. Check you guys back next week. Might do a live. Might do something live in the morning back on the C1 build, but as it looks right now, probably book the rest of the week. If I don't get to see you guys again, have a great and safe 4th of July. This is Minnie. Don't forget, Scaled World will check you out. Peace.